I was motivated to seek an open adoption because I was young. I was only 17 years old. I wasn't comfortable parenting myself. I would have been a single mom with very little help, if any help at all, from the biological father. I grew up in a home with separated parents that experienced our own stresses and traumas, and I didn't want that for my child. I wanted him to go to a two-parent home that was ready and wanting and able to give him the best possible life that he could have. I chose open adoption instead of a closed adoption because I wanted to know what he was like growing up and have a relationship with him and just love him and make sure he never had any questions or concerns or ever thought that he wasn't wanted by his biological parent. I very much wanted him, but parenting was not in the cards for me at 17 years old. I chose OA&FS specifically because going through all the different open adoption agencies out there, they were the only one that I felt was truly open. It wasn't open with contingencies. It was very child and birth parent focused. And so I wanted to make sure that my voice was heard and that my wishes were respected. And it seemed that OA&FS was, at that time, the only one that was doing that. They put all of the cards in my hand. It was up to me to pick the adoptive parents. It was up to me to say how many visits a year I wanted. So I wanted to make sure that they really looked at family and family events as significant, that they would be included, that we go to weddings and we go to birthdays. Do they in person really align with what is said on paper? And it did. I mean, there's always a few differences, mostly in sports and college teams, but we could get over those. But as far as like the really, really important things went, like we very much aligned on those topics. And after that first meeting, I felt 100% confident that this would be the family that raised my child. They're very, very friendly. They're very caring people. They were very sensitive to the situation and were very kind. It's just like my relationship with any of my family, really. Like I said, he will be 18 in September, so we're 17 years into this. I've always felt very included in their family. They have always sent pictures and letters and artwork. When he was younger, we had a lot of visits. We would visit anywhere between 5 and 7 times a year. As he's gotten older, his school schedule and sports and things like that have made it so we don't see each other in person as often. But when we do, they're usually longer stays or longer visits. We now probably see each other 2 to 3 times a year in person and try to FaceTime at least once a week now, especially now that Zach has a little baby sister. He was the first person who we told when his little sister was born. He has come down and visited us just by himself. We've gone to see him when he was in town for school events and take him out to dinner. I talk to his parents on the side without ever talking about what Zach's doing. I have a relationship with them outside of Zach. Everyone is welcome and everyone is loved and everyone knows that they're loved, and there's really no questions about where anybody fits into this weird little puzzle. It all fits. I do not think Zach ever doubts how much I love him and care for him and want him in my life. We do as much as we can to involve him in every aspect of our lives that we feel is important to his. We call and ask him about his, debates and his school, and just to see how he's doing, and invite him on camping trips or just down to visit. Between his parents and us, we reach out and we do all that we can in order to make sure he knows that we love him. I've been able to, since placing him, attend college, travel abroad, study abroad, graduate from college, buy a house, get a career that I love, and get married and have my own child 17 years later. Without open adoption, I would most likely still be a struggling single parent in the town I grew up in with very little, if any, support. He would not have the life he has today, and I would not have the life I have today. And honestly, I feel we're both in a better place because of open adoption. And I'm very thankful that open adoption was there when I needed them to be, and that they've been there ever since, and they're continuing to be there for other women in need. I'm much more aware of how people view adoption now than before, and I'm surprised that in 2020 we still view adoption as abandonment, and that's absolutely not the case. I would want the world to know it's not abandonment, that we all do love our children. Whether you put your child in open adoption by choice, or if social services stepped in, or whatever the reason was that you placed your child in an open adoption, all birth parents love their children. And I think that's something not a lot of people know. And I think that that's something everybody needs to know, is that all birth parents love their children.